Are you struggling to connect with the clients on your courses? Kirsty joined me to find out how you can bring more engagement to them. So Kirsty, welcome to Habitz.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. It's great to have you on.
Thank you.
So talk to me a little bit about your work. How are you an expert in learning and facilitating?
It started a good 15 years ago when I was in the corporate world. I fell into something called sales capability. I was asked to be delivering workshops and coaching sales leaders. And I was like, what is this all about? Started the reading at that time, started getting really excited about how you create, design, deliver learning that engages us adults rather than engages as a small child, and just realized there was a whole world of it out there. So I just started doing a lot of my own personal development, NLP, systemic constellations, lots of reading. You can see the books behind me. And then just started talking to a lot of other individuals who are equally passionate about learning, design, delivery, the facilitation and training aspect.
And exactly, there's a lot of it out there, isn't it? And I suppose it's hard to stand out because there's so much. But where do you think people tend to go wrong with facilitators? Because there's that many out there, so much to choose from.
I think in business and corporates, we sometimes forget to put the humans, the learners at the heart of whatever we design and deliver. We sometimes put the business outcomes at the center. We often think we have to do everything ourselves as a facilitator and trainer because we are solopreneurs. That's not always true. And the other thing I noticed that people aren't great at is not having really clear purpose and outcomes for any learning that they design.
I think it becomes a bit robotic then, can't it? When people, it's like if you put the business out, if you get actually, we're human beings, aren't we? People want to feel warmth when they're being trained. They want to feel, if you've been stuck, please ask me for help. It's kind of like that teacher relationship, isn't it?
Yeah. And I think the thing that I've noticed is trying to shift from the teacher relationship because we're adult to adult. I think some adults, they come with a perception when they come into learning that it's going to be like being back at school. Yeah. And if you've not had a great experience at school, you think it's going to be about the teacher. And I think I just see sometimes, not all the time, people revert to their 14-year-old self and can go a bit sullen. They look at you as if, right, you've got to teach me, you're running the show. And you're actually saying, actually, this is an invitation for you to step in. We want the group to lead. We're just here to, as it says, facilitate, and facilitate means to make easy.
I think that would be me. I think that I'd be that stroppy teenager again, facilitating. but it's important to remember that though, because you don't have to do that. It's not like school. It's all about continuous learning, your self-development. You don't have to do this, but it's all beneficial for you, and you're going to be the better version of yourself for doing it. And that's why you're exactly right there. You can't see it as teacher.
Correct. And I often say to facilitators and trainers, when you're setting up learning, make the invitation that they are adults. They're here to learn. The more they put in, the more they get out. Don't look at us as the teacher. Ask lots of questions. I also have a philosophy, Lauren, that the answer will be in the room. And because there's enough people, we're all adults. We've got experience. We bring that to the table.
And you're not going in blind. Like, remember, obviously it's continuous learning. So you've got that background already, and you're just adding to that, aren't you? So, like you say, people are gonna know the answers. And I think it's a confidence thing as well. Thinking, oh my god, I haven't got a clue what's going on here, but I know. But you of course you will, because it's like it's from your background.
Yeah. And I think that's part of the role of the facilitator or the facilitative trainer is to settle the group in that first period of time, whether it's a day workshop when we were in person. I always say that first hour, you want to be settling people in. Don't dive straight into content and expect people to connect and be ready to have a conversation with you. Like, settle them in, bring them into the subject. Like you just said, let them know they will have the answers. They will know a lot of what we're going to discuss. This is about often unpicking bad habits and rebuilding good habits.
No, definitely. And it like you say, it is a confidence thing. You feel better when you're in there. And I think now, positively, like, we're going from, a lot of remote learning, we're now hopefully going to more physical learning. So what would be a really good habit that you've picked up along the way in your courses?
So a good habit for a facilitator trainer to bring to life is how you create safety and engagement into the space. And so a good habit there is often about our language. Our language paints pictures for people. And I've noticed when I've been the learner, when someone who's training me says, I want you to do this, I want you to do that, that just disengages me. So there's an invitation to we will do this. Let's have a go at. So as the facilitator trainer, I really would love people to start thinking like we are part of the group. So it's not me being the teacher going, I want you to do X, Y, or Z.
And if you get, again, going back to that stroppy teenager, if you're going, I want, what you're going to do, you're going to retaliate, aren't you? You're like, no, I'm not doing that. I'm not answering. And you're going to have those borders up. If you have like open questions saying, what's your opinion on this? What would you do in this scenario? That's going to make a huge difference.
Correct. I agree.
And what's another good habit you'd suggest, Kirsty?
Another good habit for a facilitator and trainer, and it's a bit blunt, so excuse my French, is sort your shit out. So when we work for ourselves as solopreneurs, even if you're in partnership with another person, all your fears, I promise you, are going to show up. Whether that's when you're managing and running your own business, or whether it's when you're at the front of the room facilitating a workshop. So our beliefs, our limiting beliefs, if you haven't got those tidied up, or if you're not even aware of them, someone might say something in the group and you get triggered. And you might think you've got a poker face and nothing is being expressed. But I've seen it with people, like their body language shifts, or there's a tone of voice that comes through. So one of the things I say to people is, as facilitators, the best facilitators and trainers I see have a coach. They have supervision. And it's not something that's requested in our industry. It is in the coaching world. But as a facilitator or trainer, the CPD doesn't ever say you need to have a supervisor. So that's something I always recommend. Sort your shit out. You'll feel better for it. Get yourself a coach. You don't have to work with them continuously, but at least I'd expect to see 3 to 4 months in a year, we're doing some work on ourselves to enable ourselves.
Absolutely, because it's going back to continuous learning for the trainer then, because you can't pour from an empty cup. And
my God, yeah.
Yeah, and it's like me, like I have a mentor in industry, and even though like I'm doing really well at the moment for myself, it's like I can always do better. And it's also make sure my cup's full so I can give my best when I'm in work.
So I think, Laura, that's a great point. So not only is it about having a space to look at what maybe you've just done in a workshop or what you're doing within your business, there's the sort of mental, emotional health element as well, which I think is really important. And when we work on our own, sometimes you can go stir crazy. And look, we've all been locked down for the last 12 months.
Totally.
In the UK. So you need people to talk to sort it out so you're not going around in circles. And it's just something I think is really important for all of us to do. And it's something that I have valued time and again over the last 15 years for myself.
And like you say, supervisors and mentors, anyone like that, they're trained to take your shit on, if you don't mind me swearing as well. But they're trained to take your stuff on, because sometimes it can be draining because you don't know all your classmates and the students that you're helping or people, but it's like you're taking on all their stuff, and it can be quite draining. So that's why you've got to have someone to vent to and get it all out and know that actually you're doing a great job.
Yeah, and just have someone who has been through an experience themselves, or give you that space just to look at it from a different perspective. Because you know what it's like when you're in it. It's really hard to sometimes differentiate of what's going on, what's working, what's not working, what is yours, and actually what is the groups or the clients that you need to leave with them as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's instilling those boundaries, isn't it? So what would be your final good habit be then, Kirsty?
So a final habit, a good habit for a facilitator and trainer is to end well. So when we run workshops, when we run learning events, virtually or in person, I have noticed that many people get squeezed for time as they get towards the end of a session, and our endings can either drift or they can be really rushed. So I would love us all to be really give ourselves a good half an hour at the end of a workshop in a day, even 45 minutes, and end really well, where you give time and space for the learners to make meaning of what they've just been through, to make some commitments to themselves, like what they're going to do next, and to share back with you in the group exactly what it is they're going to be doing. And so that they've made those mental, emotional connections in their head. Also, people remember endings more than they remember beginnings. So we want people to walk away from your workshops, from your facilitative events going, oh, that was good. yeah, that really resonated. That really worked for me. So end well.
And it's true when you begin in, obviously you need to make that connection straight away because obviously you'll still have potential. But I think people spend so much time on their intro and all the centre in the middle, they do forget their ending because you think, my intro's got to be perfect. And of course it does. It's got to have that. But you're absolutely right there. Your ending, you need to think, oh, I really had a good session there. Even if it's just a bit like, oh, how did you find the session? It's that feedback you can have in your ending.
Yeah. So end well, team. That will make a difference. People will leave. You want to leave them on a high as well.
Yes,
you don't want to leave people sort of drifting off and feeling a bit like, what was that all about?
What have I just sat there for?
Yeah, exactly.
Kirsty, thank you so much for coming on Habitz. Where can people find you and access your courses?
You can find us at our website, www.schooloffacilitation.com. Come and find me on Instagram, School of Facilitation, and I'm on LinkedIn as Kirsty Lewis, and I'd love to connect with you. Come and find me.
Brilliant. Thank you so much again, Kirsty.
Thank you, Lauren. Thank you.
Thanks again to Kirsty for joining me and sharing her tips to be more engaging in your courses.